Yo, what's up guys? It's Noah here, and in today's video, I'm going to be talking through a couple player props I like on Prizepicks for tonight's NFL game for Monday Night Football. We got a really good game this Monday night between the Eagles and the Chiefs. I think, at least, I think this is going to be one of the better primetime games we have this season. I've been saying that about some of the primetime games this season. It feels like a lot of the primetime games this year have been some big disappointments, but this should be a good one on Monday night. Eagles and Chiefs rematch of the Super Bowl last season. I got two player props, guys, that I do want to share with you that I like for Monday night, for this Monday Night Football game. So, as always, we're going to talk through these two plays and share why I like them. Before we do get started, though, if you guys do enjoy these Prizepicks videos and if they do help you out, make sure you hit that like button down below, hit that subscribe button if you have not yet, and if you guys are new to the channel and if you don't have an account on Prizepicks, you guys can sign up for Prizepicks using my promo code NOAH. You will get your first deposit matched up to $100 when you sign up for Prizepicks with my promo code. And I do want to say that right now, Prizepicks actually made a cool announcement. They have a free square available for this week's, for Thursday, I should say, for Thanksgiving Day for the NFL slate. So Christian McCaffrey's rush plus receiving yards prop is discounted all the way down to 0.5. Obviously, McCaffrey is going to get one rush plus receiving yard. So you would take them over on that, take more than 0.5 rush plus receiving yards. You just have to find any other pick you like to pair with that. Obviously, when McCaffrey gets that 1 yard, you're going to win that pick, and then you just find any other pick or multiple picks you like to pair with that. If you do want to take the picks I give out in this video and pair that with the free square, you can do so, or you can wait till Thursday and look at the board then. You can wait and see if there's any props you like for the Sunday slate. But again, guys, make sure you're signed up for Prizepicks. Take advantage of this free square while it's available until Thanksgiving Day. And again, if you don't have an account on Prizepicks, make sure to use that promo code NOAH. You will get your first deposit matched up to $100. And I do want to also give a quick shout out to Sleeper because we also do have a partnership with Sleeper. And if you guys don't have an account over on Sleeper, you can sign up for Sleeper as well using promo code NOAH and get your first deposit matched up to $100 over there. Now, if you don't know what Sleeper is, they're an app very similar to Prizepicks and a lot of these other DFS pick'em apps that you do see around the industry. But on Sleeper, you can win up to 100x your money. So they're a cool site that does offer some really high payouts. Some of these other DFS sites, they do kind of limit how much you can win on a certain entry, whether it be 20x or 25x. Well, you can win up to 100x your money over on Sleeper. So if you guys don't have an account on Sleeper and you want to try them out, sign up, make a deposit, and use that promo code NOAH over on Sleeper as well. You will get your first deposit matched up to $100 over there. But let's go ahead and talk about this Prizepicks slate. Two props I'm liking for Monday Night Football. We're going to look at a receiving yards prop that I like for tonight, and then we're going to look at a fantasy score prop I like. So for the receiving yards, we're going to go to Devontae Smith, 55.5 receiving yards. And I do like the over here for Devontae Smith. Now, if you look at Devontae Smith's game log this season, it's very up and down. He's had a really kind of up and down season. He's had some good games, but he's also had some bad games. You look at his last 5 games for what it's worth. Obviously, it doesn't mean much, but over his last 5 games, he has only gone over this line in 1 out of 5. But there's some important news to talk about for this Monday Night Football game, and that is that the Eagles are going to be without Dallas Goedert. And I think this is actually huge for Devontae Smith because Dallas Goedert does have the 3rd highest target share on the team, 18.3% target share for Goedert. When you take Goedert out of the equation, that's just going to allow for Devontae Smith, probably A.J. Brown, maybe some of these other guys to get more targets. But when you look at who the Eagles have to replace Goedert at tight end, they don't have any other good pass-catching tight ends. I assume it'll be Jack Stoll who replaces Goedert, but Stoll this season, he's only, he hasn't really played much this season. They're probably going to run some sort of committee at tight end, I'd assume. I don't even know who they have at the tight end position. I'm guessing it'll be Stoll. Maybe, I guess they do have Albert O, who used to play for the Broncos, so maybe he'll fill in. They have Grant Calaterra. I don't know much about this guy, but I'm guessing they're going to run a committee at tight end. But needless to say, without Goedert, you should probably see even more volume for Devontae Smith, for A.J. Brown. And Devontae Smith specifically has seen a nice boost in his target share in the games he has played without Dallas Goedert. Over the last 6 games or 5 games that he's played without Goedert, 9, 9, 8, 8, and 8 targets for Devontae Smith. And over those 5 games, he has gone over this receiving yard prop in 4 out of 5. I was also looking at his target prop for tonight. Prizepicks does have a target prop up for Devontae Smith, and they have that line set at 7. I think Devontae Smith sees more than 7 targets tonight, so if you want to take the over on that as well, I kind of like that too. More than 7 targets for Devontae Smith. It's kind of, pick whatever one you like. I feel like if Devontae Smith gets 8 targets, he probably also gets 56 yards. I could definitely see a scenario where he catches like a really long pass, maybe only gets like 5 or 6 targets, but still gets 56 yards. So it's really up to you. For what it's worth, in those games where he did get 8+ targets, he didn't go over this line in one game. Like there was one game without Goddard. He did have 9 targets, but only 50 yards. So it's like, it's just kind of pick your poison here. But both these props I do like quite a bit for Devontae Smith. More, 55.5 receiving yards and 7 targets. I'm expecting a bigger role for Devontae Smith tonight, more target share. And if you look at DK Sportsbook right now, they do have Devontae Smith favored -130 to go over 55.5 receiving yards. So the sportsbook odds are also kind of in our favor here. It seems like the market is kind of agreeing that this could be a bigger game for Devontae Smith. I know he's kind of been bad lately, but the opportunity should definitely be there tonight without Dallas Goedert. And you look at this game environment, this should be a pretty high-scoring game against the Chiefs. This game does have, I think, a 46.5 total. These are two explosive offenses. These are two teams that can move the ball down the field. I think we could see a lot of points scored in this game. So give me more than 55.5 receiving yards for Devontae Smith as our first play for tonight. And then the other play that I like that we're going to pair with that, we're going to look at the fantasy score category. We're going to take a look at Travis Kelce, 17.5 fantasy score. Also like the over here, more than 17.5 fantasy score for Kelce. Now, over Kelce's last 5 games, he's only gone over this in 3 out of 5. But again, kind of meaningless for today. You really don't want to be weighting last 5 games at all. It's pretty meaningless. You look at the role that Kelce has had this season, it's been elite. Even though Kelce is kind of, in the later stages of his career, he is still producing at an elite level, still has, getting a ton of targets, getting a ton of receptions, getting into the end zone a lot. If you look at his game log this season, he has only gone over this fantasy score line in 4 out of 8 games, but he's still seeing like massive volume. He's seen at least 8 targets in all those games except for one. There was one game against the Dolphins where he only had 4 targets. I want to say that was a week that he came back from injury. I honestly can't remember. Or that might have been a game he got injured in. I can't remember. That was last week. I guess it was just, maybe that was the Germany game. Yeah, I can't remember. I didn't really get to watch that game much. But Kelce obviously didn't have the greatest game last week. That was he only saw 4 targets last week, and that was the least amount of targets he's had in a single game this season. Every other game this season, though, he's had at least 8 targets. He's had double-digit receptions in 2 games. Like, he's just a fantasy. He's so good for fantasy because he racks up a lot of receptions and he scores touchdowns. And obviously, for fantasy score, you get a point per reception. You get 6 points for touchdowns. So Kelce can have games where he just can put up 25, 30 fantasy points because he can catch 10+ balls and he could get into the end zone multiple times. I like fantasy score the most for Kelce tonight. Looking at his props. His receiving yard line is set at 74.5. His receptions is set at 7. I think if he goes over 74.5 yards, he probably goes over fantasy score as well. I definitely could see a scenario where he does go over yards but not fantasy score. But I could also see a scenario where, maybe he goes under like both these props, like receiving yards and receptions, but if he catches a touchdown, like he could still get there. Like let's say he has 6 catches for 60 yards and a touchdown. Well, that would be 18 fantasy points. So I think fantasy score is the prop I like most here, but I'm expecting a pretty good game from Kelce tonight. I think this matchup is very favorable against the Eagles. The Eagles have been pretty vulnerable against tight ends this season. This Eagles defense is very good, but they do have a weakness against tight ends. They have allowed 5 touchdowns to tight ends this season. That is tied for 3rd most in the league, and they are giving up the 10th most fantasy points to the tight end position as well. So the matchup here for Kelce I think is very favorable. Expecting kind of a bounce back game from him after a disappointing game last week. If you look at his props for tonight, you kind of add them all up. 7 receptions, 74.5 receiving yards. That puts him at around 14.5, 15 fantasy points. You bake in touchdown equity. Kelce, I think on DK Sportsbook is like even money for an anytime touchdown. I think he's got a good chance of getting a touchdown here. I was debating between fantasy score or his touchdown prop. They have a touchdown prop up for Travis Kelce. They also have it with Jason Kelce. Obviously, there is like 0 chance that Jason Kelce is going to score a touchdown. So if you take the over on this prop right here, you're pretty much just betting on Travis Kelce to get a touchdown. And I think he's got a chance at a touchdown here. But again, with fantasy score, like we don't need him to score a touchdown to go over this line. If you look at his game log this season, in the 4 games he's gone over this fantasy score, he didn't score a touchdown in one of those games. It was against Denver. He had 9 catches for 124 yards, 21.4 fantasy points without a TD. There was one game this season, though, against Jacksonville where he did score a touchdown but did not go over this fantasy score. Had 9 targets, 4 catches for 26 yards and a touchdown, but only 12.6 fantasy points. So again, this is another one where it's kind of like pick your poison, fantasy score or touchdown prop. I prefer fantasy score for Kelce if I had to choose one of the two. And when you're looking at fantasy scores, something you can do. So if you play DFS, you can compare projections, like DFS projections around the industry to Prizepicks projections. The DFS projections that I use, they currently have Kelsey projected for 18.5 fantasy points, so they're a little bit higher than Prizepicks' number. Another thing you can do is that if you play on multiple DFS apps, so if you play on Sleeper, we talked about them earlier in the video, if you play on any other sites, you can compare their fantasy score projections to Prizepicks. Most of these DFS apps, these pick'em sites, they do offer fantasy score projections. The only thing you have to note is that the scoring system could sometimes be different. But on Sleeper, they do use the same fantasy scoring system that Prizepicks does. And on Sleeper, they have their line on Kelsey set at 19.8. So Sleeper is much higher on Kelsey as well. They're projecting him much higher than Prizepicks is. Seems like Prizepicks is kind of projecting Kelsey the lowest of all the DFS apps here when it comes to fantasy scores. So I do like the over or more than 17.5 fantasy points for Travis Kelsey tonight. So these are two props, guys, that I am liking for Monday Night Football tonight. Good game, hopefully, between the Eagles and the Chiefs. Going to be taking Devontae Smith more than 55.5 receiving yards and Travis Kelsey more than 17.5 fantasy points or fantasy score. If you guys are going to be tailing me on these two plays, hopefully we can hit both these plays, make some money tonight. Unfortunately, we gave out 3 plays for NFL on Sunday. Hit 2 out of 3. We did hit the over on Jerome Ford's fantasy score of 10. Also hit the over on Tyreek Hill's reception prop of 6.5. Unfortunately, we took the over on Austin Eckler's fantasy score Sunday, and that prop missed. But man, if you watch that game, Eckler got down to the goal line. The Chargers got down to the goal line. Eckler got the ball, looked like he was going to score a touchdown, and then he fell down right when they handed the ball off to him. He fumbled. It was just a disaster. I was feeling pretty good about that Eckler play once they got near the goal line and were about to score, and I was hoping Eckler was going to score a touchdown. We would have been in pretty good shape if that happened, and of course, Eckler fumbles the ball, slips and falls. It was just a disaster, man. Sucks to lose that play, but we did hit 2 of the other 3 plays that we gave out for the NFL slate on Sunday. Hopefully you guys made a little bit of money on Sunday. Let's try to make some money on this Monday night game. But again, guys, good luck on this slate. Appreciate you watching the video. As always, hit that like button if you guys enjoyed. Make sure to hit that subscribe button if you have not yet. And again, if you guys don't have an account over on Prizepicks, you can sign up for Prizepicks using my promo code NOAH, linked down below in the description, or just when you sign up for Prizepicks, use that code. You'll get your first deposit matched up to $100. But good luck tonight, guys. Thanks for watching the video as always. Hope you enjoyed. Let's make some money tonight, and I'll see you guys in the next video.